welcome to Crafting and Recovery. This is Heather. I have a flip through for you today of the Shabby Chic journal. Sorry about my missing videos last week. I had a little bit of a health scare, so my mindset just was not quite there to film. I think everything should be okay though. I got some more tests, but I think it'll be okay. So I watched a video of a flip through last week, and it was Sara Lee Armstrong. She has a YouTube channel and she is brilliant when it comes to making journals. She has really cool ideas. So if you haven't ever went to her channel and checked, go look. But she did this journal and she had a belly band that she slow stitched all the stuff onto. And she had used, I believe, like a vintage crocheted piece, but I didn't have any vintage crochet pieces, so I just crocheted my own piece and then slow stitched stuff onto it. So it just secures here with a button, and that comes off. And then I'll set the journal aside for a minute and show you guys this. I still need to put, I think I'm gonna put like a piece of neutral fabric on the back of it to cover the slow stitching. But she had a tutorial on making these little fabric flowers. So I did that. I hand dyed some laces, kind of a rose color, and I just slow stitched all of these little beads and buttons. This is a little vintage piece of jewelry. Some saltwater pearls. There's another flower there, There's some charms, a little bow. And then I got a little key here and another flower. So I just slow stitched all those on there. And then this is a vintage button that I attached. And then there's opening on this side where you can attach the button. So I was pretty happy with the way that turned out. I love her ideas, so it gave me some inspiration. I wanted to try doing this because I had never really done a slow stitch belly band before for a closure. So there's that. And then here's the journal. There's some more of those. I printed on some fabric for the first time, and I was actually really surprised at how easy it was. I was expecting it to be a nightmare and to get jammed in my printer. But I think it was either Louisa Hensel or I want to say Seven Plaza or Sasibo. One of those three. They had a tutorial on different things you can use to print on fabric, and one of them was if you have sticker paper of any kind, you can peel off the sticker part of the paper that has the sticky on it, and you flip it over, and then you just adhere your fabric to that part, and it goes right through your printer. I actually was really surprised. It worked very, very well. So I've got the flowers that I made, some embossed paper here, some vintage music paper, and I've got like a little vintage piece of doily, and I just did some ribbon. And then on the back I've got some lace and some French, it's printed, I just aged it, and then some vintage music paper, some more vintage crochet, and then just a little flower with some string and stuff in there. So there's the front, and then we open it up. Sorry guys, I'm trying to stay in frame. Open it up, and I just made a master board with some old like 1900 advertisements and stuff. And I find most of those, like I usually find a lot of my stuff like that in thrift stores. In the book section, you can find really, really cool scores on old books. So I just did This Journal Belongs To, and then the back's got some ledger on it. And then I embossed this. I get most of my embossing stuff off of Temu because it's cheaper. And then I just watercolor painted it with some of the, I don't know if you can see on the video or not, but they're the sparkly watercolors. And then I've just got some there. And then here I made a little teacup with as a little tuck spot. This is a printable from My Porch Prints. And then I made a little tea bag, just cut out the shape and stuffed it with some filler I had and sewed around it, and then just stapled it on the back. And then I've got a little vintage doily here. This is just like it came with a bead set from Walmart, but it didn't have any holes for the bead, so I just glued it on. And then just a little picture of a French lady there. And then that opens up. And then this opens. I'm trying to stay in frame. And it's just got a piece of coffee dyed paper. I am gonna put, I still have to go through, I haven't done my stamping yet, but I got these stamps off of Temu. And so they're just like little wildflower stamps. So I'm gonna put some of those, I'm gonna put one down here, put some throughout the thing, because I haven't done that yet. But I'll do that later. Anyway, so that closes. And then this is either vintage or antique. It's pretty close to antique. I can't remember if it made the cut or not. And one second, my dog is barking. Okay, sorry about that. So I've just got a little bit of vintage doily here and some lace. I got some trim. I sewed around a lot of the edges. This is just a vintage library card from the Dewey Decimal System when they still had it. And then here's one of those collaged from that collage master board. And then I had pressed some ferns, so I laminated that and stuck that in there. And I just did a little collage with some lace and stuff. I dyed this paper with food coloring. I just looked at the directions on the back of the box to make, I think it was called like a dusty rose or something. So I dyed that. And then this is old letter printed on vellum. And just some more. This is from an antique book from the 1930s. Some of the ads from the front of that. And then these are from My Porch Prints from the kit's called Grandma's Attic. And then I made these little paperclip charms and just hung them on the page. There's a lot of writing space in this. These were a tutorial by, oh, she does them all the time. I'll leave the link in the description box, but she has a big book of journal ideas, and so she adds to it all the time and has tutorials on it. And they're just made out of a book page, super simple. It's like one fold, and then just folded, and it makes a little flip. And so I just stuck another little, in between here, I put, it's a sticker, a flower sticker. And then I just put another one of those masterboard tags in there. Just some coffee dyed scrapbook paper. All of these ones like this are from My Porch Prints. Some coffee dyed notebook paper. This was a tutorial also, and I will link it in the description box. I am terrible with my memory. The fibromyalgia has eaten my brain. I am not even kidding. I cannot remember stuff at all. So this is just a big book page. And so you got a pocket here. And then I got these, they're like bookmarks. And I got them off of Temu. And they come with those like clear, the washi stickers that are clear of like pressed flowers, they look like. And you can stick them on here to make it look like the flowers in a jar. But instead, my daughter had these really beautiful baby's breasts that were dyed in a bouquet that my son-in-law gave her. And so she was sweet enough to dry them for me. And so I just took some of those and placed them on the plastic bookmark, and then I laminated it. So there's that, and it's got a hole so you can put some ribbon through. And then there's just another one of those little Shabby Polaroids I stuck in there. And then this opens, and then you got a pocket here and a pocket here. And I just stuck some more of those masterboard tags in here. This one's just got a little ticket on the top. And then there's also a big pocket back here that I just stuck another piece of journaling paper in. So that's a pretty cool tutorial, and I will list where it was in the description. I'll tie that later. And then there's more of that antique book, some of the ledger. I might add a couple more pockets in here when I do my stamping. I'm thinking I probably will. This is just like one of those little die cuts that, and so I just glued at the bottom and I made a little tuck. This is an old vintage photo. Look at this baby. Doesn't have a date on the back or anything, but you can tell by the coloring and the way that this is that it's pretty old. So cute. And then there's just another one of those little Polaroids and a little 1916 little piece of ephemera. Super cute. And then I just did a little cluster there. Some of that dyed trim. And then this is another one, book page pockets. I will list below. This one's made out of 3 book pages, I believe. So you've got a little flip here, and I just put some paper on there so that you can write. And you could actually secure this with one of those little Velcro stickies to hold it down if you didn't want it to flip up. And then I've just got, oh, did I do 2? Oh, I did do 2. I guess I got 2. 2 of those little Polaroids in there. And then this little piece of ephemera. Can't remember where I got this. I think somebody gave me a bunch of craft stuff and there was this stuff in it. Or no, I got it in a bunch of stuff at a thrift shop. And then this is some of that baby's breath, but it was the blue dyed. And so I laminated that. And then there's just a little piece of little coffee dyed check thing there. And then this book is from, I found these 3 little books at, I think it was one of the thrift shops in our town, but they're from, I want to say 1901, and it was on spelling and grammar, and then also on composition and writing. So there's a little page out of that to make clusters or whatever whoever gets this journal wants to do with it. And this vintage wallpaper printable is from Ruby and Pearl. Also, there's bits and pieces from Ruby and Pearl. This is from Ruby and Pearl. And I just did a little sticker up there. And these are just little, I stamped some fabric with those wildflower stamps. And I just glued that onto the bottom. And there's some more trim with, this is another one of the paper clip charms I made with some lace and fabric and a little key. Probably should have put it on a heavier page. This is from a really old, they're not super old. They're from the 70s. Okay, so this is the second time I'm filming this part of it. My camera shifted somehow and I was completely out of frame. So I've just got another folk page. There's a pocket here with some journaling space. Here's another one of my cards. I hope the lighting's okay, you guys. I had sun shining through too bright to have the blinds open. So I did a little mold of a rose here and painted it with watercolor and just did some collage. Some more of that really old paper. Some really cool little stories and poems on these. Coffee dyed. So this opens. And I just have music paper on the top and the bottom, and there's a little waterfall here. Somebody could put a pocket or journaling space, whatever they like. There's a belly band with that master board, a little collage with some vintage fabric. And this card is from this is a postcard from 1902. It's a place in France, I believe. I can't read French, so I'm assuming it's a place in France, but it's got a color picture on the front. It's really cool. So that's in there. I left these strings long just in case somebody wanted to beat them, or you could cut them. I did go through and do the wildflower stamps that I wanted to do. Some more coffee dyed paper. This is just a little like ephemera postcard, so you could decorate the front if you wanted. Kind of cute. And then this is another little paperclip charm I did, and it is holding this book page envelope that I put some washi tape across here. And then there's another collage card and just a little piece of ephemera, and I did a stamp on here, and it's just backed with coffee dyed paper, so you could journal on it if you wanted to. So that goes here. Make sure that I stay in frame this time. And I just did that little, I hung that charm on the paper clip. There's another pocket with that really old composition page. It'd be good for collage or something. This is just an ephemera postcard. And then I made this, I backed it on chipboard, kind of like a cabinet card type thing, and just stuck some pictures from Ruby and Pearl in here. This frame is from Nick the Booksmith, so you could use that to decorate a journal or journal on, whatever you like. And then here's a little envelope. I just stuck a piece of ephemera in there. There's another piece of that composition from, I want to say it's like 1903 actually. I think these books are from. I'll have to double check. And then there's just a couple, there's an old tulip soap piece of ephemera, one of those Shabby Polaroids, and another little piece of ephemera I stuck in here. Could use for collages or journaling on, whatever you like. There's some more of my dyed paper. Here's another book page pocket. So it's got one of the masterboard tags. This is an old photo. I got a pack of photos that somebody had taken. It looked like on vacation in Hawaii. And this is one of the beautiful Hawaiian ladies they photographed, but it looked like it was like early 1950s from the swimsuits they were wearing on the beach. I just thought that was really pretty. And then here's another masterboard, and I put a little rose and some chiffon ribbon there. And then there's this little chipboard journaling card, and this is from an old book about artists, and I loved this little photo. It's called The Maids of Honor. I just thought it was really cute. It's by Velasquez, and then on the back it's got a Rembrandt photo, but you could use it for decorating another journal, or I'm gonna put that in after because it's a tight squeeze. So that's a cool, that's also a part of that tutorial. I'll list below. And then this is just an adorable little picture. I thought that was so cute, them kissing, so I just put it in a little frame and put Celebrate Life there with some collage on the coffee dyed scrapbook paper. And then here is the third signature. There's just some coffee dyed, some more. This is a really old music book. It's got the Old Brass Wagon and Sourwood Mountain. And then these are hidden paper clips by hidden paperclip slips by Tracy Fox. And so there's one of those, and then I just stamped a little piece of fabric and put a ribbon crimp on it and made that into a charm. And then these are just little floating pockets that you could really do anything with or put anywhere. And I just put this little picture of this sweet little girl in there and another piece of ephemera. So there's that. And I will put those back on too. This goes under that paper clip. This was a really sweet little book page from a book that I just love that little picture. I thought somebody could use in a journal. And then there's a tuck here, some more of that paper. There's some cute little poems and stuff here. And then some more of that folk art book. And here's another one of those flippy book page pockets with a tag in it. And then I just put one of those clear stickers in there. So there's that. And then some more of the dyed paper. A little stamp here. Another one of those floating pockets with, I got this little charm here with a heart. Hopefully you can see that okay. I got that on that paper clip. And then here's just a little tuck with some little pieces of ephemera. And here's a little flippy thing I made. It's got some like printed ledger paper in there, and it's from that master board that I made. So that's in there. You could put a closure on it if you wanted to with some string and some brads and stuff. The other piece of that music paper, more dyed paper, some more of those French printables from Ruby and Pearl. And then this back page is also from Ruby and Pearl. And then there's the back. So my Etsy store right now is suspended because I had a couple of shipping fees from my previous order, and I was running a sale and I hadn't been able to get an order, so the shipping fees were late. And I was supposed to have like 3 weeks, and they shut my store down, suspended it in like 2 days. So I'm trying to get the money to get that opened back up. But this will be listed on my Kofi page, and I will put the link in the description box if anyone would like to adopt this journal. And I probably will also add the neutral fabric to the back of this, just to cover the slow stitching so it doesn't get hooked on stuff. But I hope you guys liked this flip through. I am going to be posting this video either this evening or it'll be up in the morning, so the journal should be available in my Kofi shop at the same time. And then also I have another video that I'm going to be posting. I'm starting a journal with me, craft with me, a ring bound journal. So the first video for that will be coming also. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I hope you're all taking care of yourselves. It is so important that we take care of ourselves. All right, have a good day.